the devastating power of Liam Wilson.
And he sends him down.
There's a reason they call him Mr. Damage. So Sunday, the most decorated fight card in Australian boxing history. Live from Sydney, Errol Spence Jr versus Tim Tszyu. It's right here on Main Event.
Ferrari versus Mercedes. This could be big. It's huge. What a dramatic getaway we've had. And come out a champion.
I'll be pumped up for this one. Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to NRLW. NRLW. What a remarkable try that is. What a start. Here's a chance. It should be a great match of footy, this one.
Good afternoon. Welcome along to the ICC Theatre here in Sydney's Darling Harbour, where one of the biggest fights in Australian boxing history is now a little over 24 hours away from finally exploding. Today we'll see Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence Jr hit the scales for our ceremonial weigh-in, and we'll get a final word from both men as well. Thanks for joining us once again here in Sydney. It's a very good afternoon to boxing great Sean Porter, Paulie Malignaggi, Danny Green and the Courier Mail's Peter Adele. Gentlemen, great to see the four of you. We'll get to Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence Jr in just a moment, but a bit of breaking news off the top in regards to our co-main event between Stephen Fulton and Liam Wilson. Unfortunately, this fight is now off after Fulton missed weight this morning by 6.5 pounds. That's around 3 kilos for Aussie fans. Pete, we know that Fulton had struggled with the weight since being here. He kept a pretty low profile as well. But hey, this is hugely disappointing for Liam Wilson, who's done everything right in the lead up to this.
Yeah, I think we're all in shock. Look, I think it's an absolute disgrace to miss weight by that amount. I mean, sometimes I know all you boys are missed maybe by a pound or two and you had to work hard to get it off. But to miss by originally 9 pounds, that is a disgrace. And he's probably I know, talking to No Limit, they say he's the most unprofessional fighter they've ever dealt with in 10 years. And now thankfully we've got the main event intact, which is great. But for you boys, can I ask you, Shawnee, to miss weight by that amount, what's happened?
Yeah, there's an amount of dedication that's not there anymore for Stephen. I think personally he came over here with the thought process that I'll do what I've always done. Well, now you're in a different land, your body clock is different, nothing's working the same, and I think that even just getting here, he didn't have the understanding of what it was going to take to get the weight off. And then again, that amount of weight, Paulie, lets me know that the dedication for the kid just isn't there anymore.
Yeah, I don't even agree with the first part of what you said. I agree with the second part of what you said. The first, because he's been to Japan and he fought anyway, and he had no problem making weight there. When the dedication was there, he did it. You know, it's one of those things. I said it the other day when he didn't turn up to the public workout. I said this could be him struggling with the weight. This could be him. You know, I've seen guys who struggle with the weight on fight weekend. They start to skip some of the events. They start to skip some of the media responsibilities and whatnot because they're trying to work on the weight the whole time. But you know, that's the thing. You're not flying an hour. You're flying across the entire world for this fight. There's people that have spent money. No Limit puts a lot of dedication and time and effort into all the the shows here. You know, we know just how organized everything is and how pristine and top level of a show No Limit puts on every single time. And you know, when they fly you here, first class business, and then you get here, you stay in a 5-star hotel, and you get all the luxuries of everything. It's because
even a chef was provided.
A chef was provided to me, which I don't even understand.
That was a mistake.
You're enabling, exactly. You're enabling.
It's very, very undisciplined and very disrespectful to the sport of boxing, and it's disrespectful to all the people who have paid to come and see these guys fight. It's really poor. I never missed weight once.
Me neither.
Not once.
I don't think you did either.
No.
And so I find it very disrespectful. I don't think he planned on making weight from the get-go.
I'll tell you what he did, but I'm assuming, you know, you get those nice business class seats, and you know, you get real forks in first class, you get real plates in first class, they get nice meals in first class. He was probably, and you're flying for 20 hours. He's probably, I'm telling you, I don't think that the dedication was there, because you want to be skipping all those on the way here if you're struggling. If you miss the weight, if you blow the weight by that much, I can't even imagine what you weighed on the plane.
Right.
I can't even imagine what you weighed when you left Philadelphia.
Right.
Well, you know, boys, they both had the same.
And I'd love to have been a fly on the plane, because I bet you he was eating on the plane too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Well,
that.
Paulie, they both had the same personal chef for this week, Errol Spence. And Errol Spence came in, I'm told, 166 2 days ago, he will make weight. So they had the same personal chef making the same meals, and somehow Fulton's gone 9 pounds over from the original weight. They even made allowances to go to 133. It's embarrassing.
You people have, you know, there's a precedent, right? Errol doesn't miss weight. You know, you know, you up the weight 2 pounds. You know, Errol got here a little bit late. He only got here a week ago. There were, you know, everybody had to deal with some visa stuff trying to come here, but you know, ultimately Errol still made the weight. You know,
And the term professional boxer,
Yeah.
you're a professional. You make weight.
Yeah.
And that's very unprofessional.
And again, all the more in a regular show, let alone in a show where they're flying you across the entire sphere of the earth and flying you business, putting you in big hotels. You know already the kind of show you're in.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Liam Wilson is here today. I believe he will still get up on the scale, so we'll get his moment in front of this crowd, which is fantastic for him. But the good news is we still do have a main event. Looking forward to seeing Tim and Errol up on the scale shortly. Danny, just how comfortably do you think Tim would have done the last 24 hours after all those years of being so drained by those horrible weight cuts?
Well, yeah, talking about weight, I think Tim would be far more relaxed and in a much better groove going into this fight. Coming into today, his mouth wouldn't be anywhere near as dry. He won't be anywhere near. He'd probably seem friendlier and more cordial than usual, because that weight cut, it strips the emotion from you as well. It strips everything, not just the weight. The kilos don't come off, the joy, the fun, the effervescence that you normally have, it goes. And so he'll be feeling much better, as will Errol.
Yeah, Errol, 3 years out of the game. How would have he done the last 24 hours, and how will his body adjust?
Yeah, I think this was in the best interest of Errol for this fight to be contracted at 160. We know coming in was a little lower than that. I think the adjustment, he says it was because he just didn't want to make 158. I think if anything, hey, it was moving a little slower than expected. That being said, a lot like Danny just said, I think he's going to be a little more comfortable than we've ever seen him before ahead of a weigh-in. And both these guys on fight night will be much more comfortable than they've ever been before.
I think going forward, I think it's Tim that probably stays at 160. I could see Errol returning to 54. I just think, you know, it's his first training camp in several years. Again, he got here a little bit late, by all standards, only last Thursday, you know.
Right.
So you know, a little bit late when you're traveling that far across the world. So, you know, maybe that was one of the issues as well. The timing of getting here was a little bit late, so he needed the extra couple of pounds. But again, there's a precedence. You know, the weight was already bumped up for Fulton a couple of days ago, and he still missed it. You know, with Spence, you're bumping up the weight, but you know you're dealing with a guy whose background always is to make weight, show professionally, and perform. So you knew it. You kind of had the feeling Errol was going to do it. You know?
All right, boys, great to get your early thoughts. Let's get all of our fighters weighed in now. It's good afternoon to Ben Damon.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sydney and welcome to our weigh-in. We are just 24 hours away from boxing history right here in Sydney, Australia. One of the biggest fights we have ever seen on Australian soil. It is the former unified welterweight champion of the world, Errol Spence Jr, against Australia's own former world champion, Tim Tszyu. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll see this fight, of course, live here in Sydney tomorrow. And welcome to Sydney for Errol Spence Jr v Tim Tszyu, proudly supported by the New South Wales Government's Tourism and Major Events Agency, Destination New South Wales. Discover everything Sydney has to offer at sydney.com. This event is live on Main Event and KO Sports in Australia and live on DAZN and DAZN on Prime through the rest of the world. We'll have prelim fights first thing tomorrow morning. Then at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, we go to Main Event pay-per-view. It all culminates, of course, in that huge fight between Spence and Tszyu. My name's Ben Damon. Cannot wait to broadcast these fights to all of you tomorrow. A stacked card, of course, and an exciting day of boxing. And we're going to weigh in all of the fighters who will take part on this card very, very shortly. First, though, it is time to introduce the promoter of this event from No Limit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is George Rose. George, firstly, just a word on this main event. Errol Spence and Tim Tszyu, an absolutely enormous fight. You must be so excited to be bringing it here to Sydney.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of the most exciting fights that we could possibly put together. A fight that's perfect for Tim Tszyu to be able to showcase what he's going to do, not only on Sunday, but going forward in this division. And really exciting to have a legend like Errol Spence Jr out here fighting in Australia, and we get Australians get the chance to see him fight live. Even though he's up against one of our best, we get the chance to see him fighting live.
Yeah, we can't wait to see that. Main events in action at Afterpay Arena and, of course, broadcast on your screens tomorrow. Some major breaking news that has been taking place, though, this morning, George, with regards to the co-main event between Stephen Fulton, the former two-division world champion from the United States, and Australia's own former two-time world title challenger in Liam Wilson. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the news is that this fight is off. We came to an agreed catch weight yesterday of 133 pounds. Stephen Fulton, at this morning's official weigh-in, has weighed 139.5. And as a result, the fight is off. Your immediate reaction to that news, George?
Yeah, look, I was very disappointed to see this happen, to see this play out this morning. I think we've been nothing but respectful and accommodating to Team Fulton, and this was a fight that was going to be a huge opportunity for a great Australian fighter in Liam Wilson, a guy who's prepared for 14 weeks leading into this for what could have been a career-changing fight for him. And while he's missed out on that fight tomorrow, I do still want to take this opportunity. We've got a fantastic crowd in here today to see the weigh-in. I want to have that opportunity to let Liam Wilson still weigh in here in front of these fans so these Australian fans can show him their love, because he's done the work and he did everything right. He weighed in on weight this morning and he deserves the opportunity.
Well, let's do that for you right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is Caboolture's own former two-time world title challenger. This is Liam Wilson. He weighed 133 pounds, 133 pounds. Liam, just a quick word from you about what has gone on over the course of the morning. You must be very disappointed.
Yeah, look, I put my heart and soul in the sport. I train very hard for a big opportunity to showcase my skills, and I plan on finishing the fight in a good fashion, all for you guys. And look, it doesn't seem to be. It's the uncontrollable for me. I put in all the hard work. I did everything correct on my end, and it was the other side of the fence. Fulton couldn't make weight, and sorry guys, but yeah. Look, but hey, we still have another Australian on the card. Tim Tszyu, he's fighting tomorrow. Let's get behind him and let's go.
Liam Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. George?
Thank you, Liam. I just want to say too, there are only 112 tickets left for tomorrow, so if you're planning on coming out there, make sure you snap your tickets up quick, come out and enjoy what will be a fantastic day of fights.
Thank you so much. That is George Rose, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there will be two further fights announced very, very shortly, which will take place as part of these prelims tomorrow as well. So stay tuned for that news, with two more fights to be added to this card at the very last minute. But this now will be the headliner of the prelims, the first of the fights that we will weigh in here in Sydney this morning. And put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for the first of our fighters. This is a 4x2 bantamweight contest. This lady comes from the Sunshine Coast of Queensland. Tomorrow she has her 5th professional fight. This is Sasha Ryan Dryden.
It's going to be 160.
116 3/4 pounds, 53 kilograms for Sasha Ryan Dryden. Now coming to the scales, ladies and gentlemen, her opponent, this is a Commonwealth Games medalist and an Olympian from Roselands here in Sydney. Tomorrow, she makes her professional boxing debut. Please welcome Tina Rahimi. $115 3/4 pounds, 52.5 kilograms for Tina Rahimi. Now we'll face the fighters off ahead of this, the headliner of the prelims that you will see live on Fox Sports and KO. Let's hear it for the first of our fighters, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we go 10 3-minute rounds for the vacant IBF Intercontinental Light Heavyweight title. And coming firstly to the scales, a 27-year-old from El Ceibo in the Dominican Republic. 13 fights, 12 wins, 9 KOs, and 1 draw. Please welcome Luis Antonio Tejeda. This fight will be your opener on main event pay-per-view at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. 173 1/4 pounds, 78.63 kilograms for Luis Antonio Tejeda. Now coming to the scales, an Olympian from Mount Druitt here in Sydney. 10 pro fights, 10 wins and 5 KOs. He is the slick and supreme southpaw. He is Sweet Pea Paulo Acuso.
All day, baby, all day.
174.5 pounds, 79.15 kilograms for Sweet Pea Paulo Acuso. Time now to face off these fighters who will open our main event pay-per-view broadcast tomorrow at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Let's hear it for these light heavyweights, ladies and gentlemen, for your pay-per-view opener, Paulo Urcuso and Luis Antonio Tejeda. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce the next of our fighters, please welcome popular Australian sports announcer. This is Stephen Payos.
Thank you very much for that, Ben, Damon, and once again, a very warm welcome, everybody here in Sydney and those watching around the world. What a magnificent turnout for this huge card of professional boxing that we have for you tomorrow, Foxtel's main event pay-per-view and around the world. We continue on with our weigh-in now. Let's get the boxers up here onto the scales, the next bout on our pay-per-view coverage. First of all, we welcome up the man who'll be boxing out of the red corner. This man, one of Australia's brightest prospects, undefeated, 7 fights, 7 wins, 6 big wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Adelaide in South Australia, he is an Australian Olympian. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise. The popular, the prolific, this is Callum 50 Cal Peters. Magnificent Australian prospect, everybody, 50 Cal. 8th professional bout on the card. Tough international opponent looking to make a statement here in the middleweight division. There he is, everybody, 159 pounds, even 72.12 kilograms under the limit. Let's hear it. 50 Cal, Callum Peters. And now, ladies and gentlemen, time to welcome his opponent onto the stage. This man makes his way all the way from San Guillermo, Santa Fe, Argentina, with a professional record, 14 fights for 13 wins and 1 draw, 9 big wins coming by way of knockout. Undefeated, looking to cause a major upset. Let's have a very big round of applause as we welcome, bienvenidos, this is Ivan Actis. Another magnificent bout on our pay-per-view card. Order now. And as we heard promoter George Rose mentioned, nearly less than 100 tickets remaining. Get those final tickets right now or order the pay-per-view. Beamed around the world. Amazon in the US and DAZN around the world. Here in Australia, Foxtel's main event pay-per-view and KO pay-per-view. Here he is, Ivan Actis. Here he is, everybody, 159 3/4 pounds, 72.48 kilograms. He makes the limit. This is Ivan Actis. Gentlemen, we'll get you facing off here with our promoter, George Rose, and we'll get everybody here in this crowd to make some noise now for these two men. 10 rounds, middleweight division. Face-off time. Here we go, Australia versus Argentina. Let's hear it, everybody. Coming closer, gents, if we can, coming closer. There we go, to the front. Let's make some noise, everybody. Once again, 10 rounds, middleweight division. And let's hear it for our fighters as they make their way off stage, everybody. Once again, 10 rounds, middleweight division. It is Peters and Actis tomorrow on our pay-per-view card. We get ready now to welcome the next bout on our main event television pay-per-view card. We move into 10 rounds in the lightweight division. And first of all, we welcome onto the stage one of Australia's wiliest veterans and most popular boxers over a very long period of time. Originally hailing from Tully in Queensland and now residing right here in Sydney, New South Wales. A very impressive record, 31 fights, 28 wins. Only 1 loss and 2 draws, with 18 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is a former Australian Olympian. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Let's make some noise for Paul Showtime Fleming. The very popular Paul Showtime Fleming looking to make a statement once again. And he jumps on the scales here in Sydney. He's on and it's official, 133 1/4 pounds, 60.42 kilograms. He's made weight. Round of applause, everybody. Paul Showtime Fleming. Yep. And now, time to welcome his opponent onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, boxing fans, this man, a very popular man right here in the Harbour City. He comes into this bout with an undefeated professional record, 8 fights for 8 wins, 6 big wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from Arncliffe in New South Wales, the 2205. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for this undefeated lightweight prospect. Here he is, armed and dangerous, Ahmad Reda. Let's make some noise, everybody. Here he is, Ahmad Reda. Another tough test in the fledgling career of this magnificent lightweight prospect, the experienced Showtime Fleming. We have it, it's official, everybody. 134 1/2 pounds, 61 kilograms even. There he is, Ahmad and dangerous Ahmad Reda.
And a word, ladies and gentlemen, with each of these fighters before they do face off in what is our co-main event. Firstly, to Showtime Paul Fleming. Paul, your final words, your final thoughts before this big fight.
I'm going to take the training wheels off this boy's bike. Let's see if he can ride.
Ahmed, your final words?
Man, call me the new K, man. This boy's getting slept tomorrow, and then I'm coming for everybody else. So let's go.
Let's go and let's face them off. Ahmed Reda and Paul Fleming. That is your new co-main event, ladies and gentlemen. It is Ahmed Reda and Paul Fleming. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest to join us to announce the fighters for our main event. Please put your hands together for legendary and Hall of Fame ring announcer. This is Mr. Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you, and indeed we welcome you as Australia's #1 boxing promotion, bringing Australia to the world. No Limit Boxing and the Rose Brothers present the weigh-in for the highly anticipated main event of the evening, presented in association with Premier Boxing Champions and TGB Promotions. Well, our main event is scheduled 12 rounds of boxing, a very special event in the middleweight welterweight division. The weight limit on this fight is 160 pounds. Let's bring our fighters to the scale at this time. First, my pleasure to introduce to you one of Australia's premier boxing talents. With a record of 27 wins and 3 losses, he has 18 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the popular #1 ranked world contender from Sydney, Australia. Here is the former WBO junior middleweight champion of the world, the Phoenix, Tim Tszyu. And Tim Tszyu weighs in at 159 pounds, 72.1 kilos, 72.1. And now, ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to bring to the stage and to the scale at this time his opponent, holding a record of 28 wins, only 1 defeat, with 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Truly one of the finest welterweights of his generation. From Dallas, Texas in the United States, he will be making his Australian debut and his long-awaited return to the spotlight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former unified welterweight champion of the world, the Truth, Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. weighs in at 159 pounds, the same as his opponent, 159 or 72.1 kilos.
And ladies and gentlemen, before we face off the fighters for this historic main event, a word with each of them, starting with Australia's own Tim Tszyu. Tim, your final words to these people and those watching live around the world before this all-important fight.
Yeah, look, a lifetime of work, and I thank you, Australia, each and every one of you guys. Let's do it. Let's do it for this country, man.
And now to Errol Spence. Errol, your final words before this big fight tomorrow morning.
I thank everybody for coming out, and there's nothing more to say. It's fight time, and I'm ready to go.
We're all ready to go, ladies and gentlemen, and we're ready to face them off, these two fighters, for your historic main event. Let's hear it for the fighters, ladies and gentlemen. The former unified welterweight champion of the world from the USA, Errol Spence Jr. and Australia's own former world champion, Tim Tszyu. That is your main event. Of course, you'll see it live on Main Event Television tomorrow. This fight is just about a sellout, so the only way to watch is on Main Event. Thank you so much for joining us here at today's weigh-in. I'm Ben Damon. I'll see you tomorrow at the fights.
So there you have it, Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence Jr. locking eyes for the final time before they meet in the ring at Afterpay Arena here in Sydney tomorrow. Join us from 9:30 a.m. Eastern for our prelim coverage, 11 a.m. on Main Event. I've got Sean Porter, Paulie Malignaggi, Danny Green, Pete Vidal with me. Gentlemen, wow, before we talk about how the boys looked up on the scales, what did you see, Sean, in that final face-off?
I didn't get a chance to really look into their eyes. I'm sorry. I'm not the one for the job for this one. Go ahead, Paulie. I know
they
you were
looked pretty intense, man.
Yeah.
It didn't look like they were breaking the stare on each other's face, you know. Then that background music made it a little more intense. That drum in the background music, and you know. They're ready to go. Listen, they focused, they made weight. We got to look at it here. You know, both guys staring deep and glaring deep into each other's eyes, not in a romantic way, in a very hateful way, in a very competitive way.
Well,
very vengeful.
And now that I've had a chance to see the face-off, I can tell you what I see. I see that they both look very much like themselves. Yeah, they look very confident. Tim with always that gaze, that 1 foot in front, almost like a warrior, and then Errol just, you know, simply put, as he said before, nothing more to say. These guys look great, and I think we're in for a treat.
You know what? I agree. You know, Errol Spence, he's the cool breeze. You know, he's just a chill dude, and there's no panic buttons on him. So I don't think he's done this before so many times. He's used to the big stage, and Tim, as you said, Paulie, and Sean, you know, he's hey man, he's giving him the nod that I'm here. Let's go.
You know what I like, Danny, too? Looking at Tim, he's thicker now. He's actually filled out a little bit as an athlete. I mean, when he fought Jeff Horn 2020, he was very small, 154, but now at 160, still looking in prime condition. And I think that extra punch resistance, Paulie, that extra weight can help him because he struggled against Murtazaliev with that punch resistance under the IBF weight.
I think the punch resistance is going to come down to a lot of mentality as well. You know, how much PTSD do both of these guys have? I think, listen, you get older, you don't take as good of a punch, obviously, but a lot of it is also mental, where you've been through the ringer so much that sometimes you get hit and you start getting flashbacks of the times you don't want to be in, you know? So I think the punch resistance, they do look great at the weight, they do look fresh at the weight, but I also think the punch resistance is going to be, a big part of that punch resistance is going to be the mental side. You know, how do they react when they get hit because of where they've been already?
And also keep in mind that this is a big show. It's a big stage out down under in front of a lot of fans. But I heard the crowd then when Errol jumped up on stage. He got a fantastic reception, and that's a testament to who he is as a human. He's a good dude. He's a humble champion, and he's a great champion. And so I think that the crowd's going to be, you know, very, 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 very on his side as well tomorrow. I think it's going to be not just a hometown crowd.
The crowd is completely torn here. I've come across fans like, oh yeah, I want them to do it for the Aussies, and I've come across fans, they're like, oh no, Tim ain't got a chance. And I'm like, what about the Aussie? You know, they don't care. You know, they love boxing. They know the big names. The big names are here. They're excited about it. I really feel like who passes the eye test there for me is Errol Spence. I thought that Errol looked better at 160 pounds. He looked more solid at 160 pounds. Remains to be seen once they get in the ring. And the main thing that Paulie just spoke on as well is that punch resistance. When your body hasn't been hit by a 10-ounce glove, your body, not just the head, but the body as a whole. And so that's, for me, that would be a game plan ahead for Tim is, hey, let's hit the shoulders, let's hit the forearms. Whatever he's given us, let's take it.
I think it's interesting. It's important to remember too, people at home, with all the advent of the UFC and the small gloves, they go, oh, they're wearing big boxing gloves. People have no idea. When you get hit with a 10-ounce glove and you're a world champion caliber fighter, you're a marksman. You don't miss, and you know how to strike. You get to the top because you know how to strike. It hurts, and the padding that's over the glove, that's over the knuckle part, which these guys are hitting the knuckle, it's smaller than the UFC gloves. These guys are tripping when they say boxing gloves are bigger. And you know what? We don't get cut as much because, you know, there's a bit more of a surface area, but the damage that the boxing guys are taking into the head, and for 36 minutes, potentially in a championship fight, it's way more. You can speak to this, boy. You've had bare knuckle fights.
Yeah,
madman.
In my experience, even with bare knuckle fights, the punches don't hurt as much as with a professional boxing glove. Your hands are wrapped. Your hands are wrapped tight like a cast. The 8-ounce glove has very little padding. So, you know, both of these guys will be going in there, and there's going to be some question marks about, you know, where their head is at when those punches start landing, where their punches start flying.
A lot going on here. Errol Spence, we believe, has left the building, but Tim Tszyu been good enough to join us. Tim, you look fantastic. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. the usual weight cut is a bit of a difference, so it's nice to come in more refreshed, rejuvenated, you know.
Just how enjoyable has probably particularly the last 24 hours been for you?
It's never really enjoyable. Like, you always have to like cut a little bit, but usually, like for me, this morning it would be a real nightmare. I'd have to be cutting the last pounds and stuff like that. Well, this morning I woke up and it was just like, sweet, I can just wait a little bit longer and eat, you know.
And you're here to stay at 160, aren't you? You're not going back now.
Nah, man, with age, you don't want to be doing those weight cuts, you know.
You had a taste of the caviar, and they don't want to go back to the bed
the
and butter.
lobster, steak and lobsters.
How's your mindset? Because a lot of times when you're losing those last pounds, it's the thing that puts your mind over the edge as far as that super focus. How does that mind feel?
I still had to feel that. Yeah. And I still had that, you know, like I woke up and I was hungry. Yeah. I had that. All right, I starved myself a little bit. All right, I had that edge, you know, but it was just like going from here to like there. Like depletion, why for a no needed type thing scenario. So yeah, that's the difference.
Tim, you've talked about this being your lose yourself moment, and you had that feeling when you fought Harrison. Yeah. You're now back at the same venue where that was your coronation as a world-class fighter. Yeah. What does that do for you? Going back to that arena, the good vibes, the good energy.
Yeah,
what does that mean to you?
It just gives me this hunger to. I'm putting it all on the plate. Just to gamble all in. It's a different type of mentality when you approach a fight like that. A certain level of discomfort that I feel, and it's refreshing to have that.
I can't see much cheekbone. You look good. You look fresh.
No, I feel fresh.
You know, you don't look like you don't look gaunt.
Nah, I feel fresh.
I've only seen you on TV at weigh-ins, and you look tough.
What? Many of the times I've been gone.
Yeah, you look sharp,
before the fight, but this time around I'm fresh.
I promise you, Errol's not gonna see this. All right, you know me. I want to know. We all want to know if the Aussie pulls it off. Yeah. How does the Aussie do it?
I think I shock him. I think he's never been hit by a strong 160-pounder. You know, I think I'm able to get him nice and early. I think land certain punches and shock him.
What do you mean Errol doesn't see this? These interviews are on all day long.
And because he's not going to see this, you got any advice for Tim?
No.
These interviews are on all day long. Everybody sees them.
You know what? Here. I felt like a wrinkle for you, right? And something that you should add to the game, and specifically fighting Errol, was being able to step around. So if anything, I would say you can't get caught in front of the game. You gotta be moving, punching, or out of reach. You know the game. Yeah. But if you didn't know.
Now you know. What's the mentality tonight? What does Tim Tszyu do the night before this?
Relax,
fight?
Man. Just relax. Yeah. From the biggest moment of my life, just relax. Take it easy. Watch a couple of Netflix shows and just
put your mind in the zone.
Yeah.
And how does Tim Tszyu arrive tomorrow? Maserati, vintage cars, any of that stuff?
I don't need any of that stuff right now. I'm not into this whole show bravado. I just want to rock up and do my job.
Bring it on. We can't wait. Tim, appreciate your time. We'll let you continually get hydrated, all of I think we've got a special. You go. No, you go.
No, I just kind of felt like he should have used a helicopter at some point this week. You got to remind the kid where he's at. You know what I mean?
Hey, good time to bring another Aussie superstar into the mix. Two-division world champ Liam Perez of a few weeks ago. Great to see you. You've been watching Fight Week from afar, but what have you made of it? What do you make of seeing Tim in the flesh today?
Man, it's unreal. This is what it's all about, you know, bringing the massive fights to Australia. Look at the turnout here. It's unbelievable, and hopefully the first of many. And, you know, like Spencer's a hell of a champion, but, you know, we're proud of us. We've got to back each other, so I'm hoping Tim can get it done. I hope he shocks the world.
How does he get it done, in your mind?
A stellar performance, you know what I mean? It's look, I think now's the time to catch Spence. There's a lot of unanswered questions, how he's going to bounce back after the time off. I think it's the best time to catch him because we don't know. But look, he's just going to have everything in the artillery to come out on top. But I believe he can rise to the occasion and get it done.
What about the jump up in weight, Liam, for Errol? You had to go up yourself to welterweight. What do you think the extra weight will mean for Errol?
Look, if anything, I think it should favour Tim more. He's a bigger guy. He's fought up there, you know. Spence looks huge, though. But look, we're just going to see tomorrow night, you know what I mean? All the predictions are going to be answered tomorrow night. So just happy to be a fan on the other side of the ropes for once and enjoy boxing.
Yeah, it was us out here last time talking about you and calling your fight, mate. It was a magical moment, a magic performance. What are you doing since then, world champ?
I've been on the seafood diet. I've been seeing food and eating it. You know, it's been good. It was a long camp, you know, with the pull-out. So just enjoy downtime with the family and yeah, letting it slowly soak in. But yeah, itching to get back in the gym. So
what's next for you?
What's next? Defend the belt here in Australia. I don't know too much yet. I've heard late October. That's all I've heard, and there's a few potential opponents floating around. So. Yeah, there's a few. If some come over the line, former world champions, so it's top level stuff. So got to get back in there and sharpen the tools.
I can only imagine. You look at moments like this, you feel it, and you want it for yourself. Here, obviously, we want to bring you. Ozzy wants to bring the big fights here. Yeah. Who can you match up with that you think could sell like this over here in Australia?
Man, the welterweight division's packed right now. Any of the other champions could sell out an arena. You know,
Pacquiao.
Oh, of course, Pacquiao. He's a legend. You know. If it was there, I'd be truly humbled to share the ring with him. But look, our eyes are on the other champions at the moment, and look, all of them, Garcia, Haney, Rollies, they could all sell out a stadium. So, yeah, well, whatever happens, happens. We just got to stay in the gym and get ready because, yeah, we've got our work cut out.
So what does Tim do tomorrow, Liam? I mean, we're all hoping as Aussies he gets the job done. There's talk about is his career on the line? Is he over if he loses this? What does he do to beat Errol?
Look, I believe he has to. Well, Jeff knows Jeff's style's in your face. I think he has to earn Errol's respect early. So if I was Tim, I'd come out fast, try to land something to earn his respect because. You see Spence getting a rhythm, and you want to try not let that happen because I believe if he gets in that rhythm, it's going to be a hard night in the office for Tim. So shock him early and jump on him and earn his respect.
Do you think it is last roll the dice for Tim?
I don't think so, man. Spence is a Hall of Famer. You know, he's won losses, was one of arguably the best fighter of our generation. So I think. Look, I hope he gets the job done. If he doesn't, man, it's not the end for Tim. This is the highest to get. So he's definitely got more in the tank. But a win will deny all that.
What do you boys think? Make or break for Tim Tszyu tomorrow?
I think it's a break for Tim. I think losing to Errol Spence Jr. With any loss, it's always how you lose. I think there's definitely the value and effort there, but then when you equate everything else that he's gone through, again, to lose here in your home country, what else do you do? Is there another performance for you in your country that people want to see becomes the question.
At 32, it's difficult to rebuild when you've got the backlash of some of the losses he's got already. You know, I don't know. Again, it will depend on how he would lose, if he would lose. But at 32, it's a tough rebuild. Actually, I lost to Sean at 33, and that was the end of me at world-class level. You know, and not to say that you can't rebuild. We've seen some other guys rebuild, but it'll depend how he loses. But also, like I said, there's a past as well. You know, I had a lot of tough fights before I fought Sean, and Tim has had some tough fights before he's fighting Spence. So a loss here, I say, could be a little bit damaging because of the combination of things. But again, it'll depend on how you lose. It'll depend on how entertaining the fight is or how much damage he takes. Right. All those other variables we don't know. And of course, he could also win.
I mean, we're all sitting at 50-50 yesterday, weren't we, in terms of the way this fight is going to go? I'll finish with you, but where are we all sort of sitting on how this fight plays out, Pete?
Oh, look, my heart says Tim, but I've got to be honest, I think Errol Spence's best is better than Tim Tszyu's best. And I think if Errol is anywhere near 90% even, I just think he's got too much class, too much movement, too much pressure. And I don't think Tim has seen anything before like Errol Spence. So I think, look, the later it goes, the more it plays into Spence's hands. I think Spence wins in the later rounds.
An important factor is what Tim Tszyu has been in the press saying that he was going to retire. He said it himself. Is that going to be in the back of his mind when the going gets tough? That's an important thing to think about. But I come from a land down under. I'm back in Tim Tszyu. I think Tim Tszyu is going to get the job done against Errol Spence Jr.
I think it ends in a knockout. I don't have a winner, but neither guy has ever lost going the distance. Both guys, their losses are all by stoppage, and I see the same thing tomorrow.
Pete's my guy. I love the way he puts it down. I love everything he said. I'm a lot with you, Pete. I also believe you, Paulie. I don't know which way it goes. This fight does not go past 7 rounds. I think Tim is going to try to blitz Errol. I think Errol might make it out of that and then end up coming right back. It's going to be back and forth. couple of knockdowns is what I can predict, but I don't know.
Fight of the year, then.
Yeah,
that's what you're
absolutely.
saying.
Absolutely.
All right.
This is fight of the year. Thank you. See, that's why I stand next to this guy. He's like, all that. Come on, fight of the year. Move on.
Yeah, of course we're going to back the Aussie, but it just depends what Spence comes out, you know. So for Tim's sake, we hope it's a relaxed Spence. It's not as driven Spence, but we'll wait and see. But of course I'm going to back the Aussie. You know, got to tricks, stay true to our people.
One sleep to go, boys. Cannot wait for tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. All of you will be on the panel, so bring it on. I'm sure those predictions will have changed by this time tomorrow, but we'll get them from you again. We're not the only big boxing event going on in the world. We're going to send it over now to our DAZN team in Jeddah. Good morning to you guys.
Cheers, guys. Adi Oladipo, Tony Bellew. We're here in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, as you guys mentioned. For the big one, the return of Anthony Joshua versus Christian Prenga. The knockout artist, Christian Prenga. Should be a good main event.
It'll be fantastic. Listen, Anthony Joshua has shown what he can do on the world stage. Christian Prenga is yet to show he's at that level, but we're going to find an awful lot out tonight.
Yeah, two good undercard fights as well. I mean, Josh Kelly versus Kevin Ajako.
Yes.
Big title fight, IBF Super Welterweight. Hamza Shiraz making the first defense of his WBO Super Middleweight crown. On the Kevin Ajako versus Josh Kelly, a bit of needle. Two guys who think they can hurt each other.
Really good fight, and listen, both of them are questioning each other's bravery, which I like the sound of. So we'll see. Is it going to be who's the bravest, or is it going to be who's the cleverest? It's very rare bravery wins fights on its own.
And I like the fact that Hamza Shiraz is staying busy. Obviously, Alan Begic, the last time out on the undercard of Alexander Usyk versus Rico, got rid of Alan Begic quick, jumps in straight away as well for the first defense, as he should. I agree with you.
Listen, this is another fight. This guy is the only one who wants to really face Hamza Shiraz. No one wants to go near Hamza Shiraz. He's the danger man, and it's not much reward, if I'm being totally honest. He's now got a world title added to that, so people will want to face him, but this guy has stepped in. It's a short notice fight, and you'd expect Hamza Shiraz to go in there and shine.
Yeah, guys, it should be a great night of boxing. Two world title fights, as we've been talking about, and then obviously the main event, Anthony Joshua versus Christian Prenga, and we know the carrot being dangled in his face. If he gets rid of Christian Prenga, it should be the big man Tyson Fury in the autumn. Make sure you join us. A late start for you guys in Australia, 11 p.m. the prelims start, and then the main portion of the card gets underway at 3 a.m. Worth staying up for.
Oh, absolutely worth staying up for. And don't forget tomorrow, of course, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Our prelim coverage begins 11 a.m. on main event. For anyone, gentlemen, that hasn't ordered this fight yet, give us another reason to get on there and press the order button, Sean.
You know, I think this fight has the makings to, like Paulie just told me, I didn't know what I was saying. It's beyond having beyond being possibly fight of the year. This has every quality that you look for in boxing, and I think that's why people should be ordering this fight.
You know, sometimes when guys have been world class, but they're a little bit past their best, and you match them together, sometimes you get the more entertaining fights, because they've still got, they know that there's just a little bit of a lifeline left at world class level. They don't want to leave world class level. They're a little bit more hittable, they're a little bit more susceptible, but the skills are still there.
If we'd seen Errol Spence and he'd potentially had a tune-up fight and didn't perform so well, and this fight still went ahead, then we'd all be going, Tim Tszyu's got this, we're all going to back Tim Tszyu, but we don't know. And the old saying, curiosity kills the cat. People are going to tune in because it's a 50-50, and it's very, very unknown of what's about to go down tomorrow.
They should buy this fight because Horn v Pacquiao. If we all remember, Aussie boxing fans, Aussie sports fans, one of the greatest events we ever saw. Jeff Horn, the underdog, we didn't think he'd do it. He upset a legend, and maybe tomorrow we see Tim Tszyu, Phoenix rising from the ashes. His moment of truth against the truth, he could do it.
Best in the business, well said. Peter Bedell.
He already said that.
That's why I'm on the big bucks, sort of.
We absolutely cannot wait, gentlemen. Once again, thank you to all of you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Our prelim coverage begins. Then we're moving across to our pay-per-view coverage from 11 a.m. We hope to see you then. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Tim, when you're a young kid, did you dream that you'd be sitting here under the lights of the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge? Did you dream of this?
Let's do it for our main event.
As a young kid, the 8-year-old me, yes. The older I got, the more you come into reality and the dream slowly starts disappearing. When you're 8 years old, you think you can become an astronaut. You can fly to the moon, you can do all these things. When I was 8 years old, I used to go to my backyard and I used to get the soccer ball and I used to punch it. I used to think I was Michael Buffer, Jimmy Lennon Jr. walking myself out into the ring. And as a young kid, I used to dream of this moment and now I'm living it. This moment. I just want to get in there. I don't need to sell anything. I don't need to talk crap. What I'm going to bring in this fight compared to my last ones is going to be even more different. I'm coming in refreshed, rejuvenated and comfortable. Yes. And I feel like it's going to pay a big difference. I want to make it into more of a, how bad do you want this? For me, I'm all in, man. This is it for me. But this is my lose yourself moment. When I feel it, I just embrace it. Thank you, Australia!
Look who's got it. Will Ashcroft with the ball.
Premiership success begins at breakfast. Introducing Willpower. Energy to help you go back to back.
Leave the ad breaks on the boundary line.
Spectacular.
With no ad breaks during play on Fox Footy, you'll never miss a moment.
You can't script this. What a moment. Why would you want to watch anything else?
I'm all in. Yeah, I'm all in. Can't stop, boy, I'm on 10. Showtime, better fall in when it's go time. Who you call in the moment? Said I'm all in.
Unbelievable!
Said I'm all in.
Super Saturday right here on Fox League.
Go time, who you call in?
And we're underway. Luai with the ball.
Before I take a hit up, I give my hair a glow up. Introducing Premiership Perm. 4 times the volume for back-to-back protection.
Leave the ad breaks on the bench.
You little beauty.
With no ad breaks during play on Fox League, you'll never miss a moment.
That is simply extraordinary. And it's game on again.